Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my LinkedIn Live this morning. I'm so excited because I have Louise McDonald with me. A lot of you will know Louise. She is an AI social media strategist. She's also the host of the Social Media Takeaway podcast. And I'm delighted to have you here this morning. Good morning, Louise.
Good morning, Samantha. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show.
My show. It's a
Yay!
show
Why not?
now. Well, thank you so much. I know that we are going to be talking about the power of ChatGPT. But you know what? Tell everyone who doesn't know you a little bit about yourself first.
So I am the founder of Sell on Social Media, and I have an agency. So I have a full-service digital marketing agency, and I also have a coaching and training academy. So I kind of like working on both sides of the house. The agency keeps my finger on the pulse, and I see what's working, what's not working for our clients, what's happening, what's changing, how we need to adapt, and then that is what I help my students and my people who join my coaching academy. I teach them how to use social media to get these results for themselves. I'm also, as I said, I'm the host of the Social Media Takeaway podcast. And yeah, so I see people tuning in here. And I'm also a 4 times best-selling social media author. And this is my current publication, the Social Media Content Planner and Guide, available on Amazon in Kindle or in paperback format.
Yeah, I was just looking around here to see where's my copy. It's here somewhere. But yeah, you're certainly an expert, and I know that you speak at Social Media Fest, the event that I do, and you always bring such value. So let's give loads of value this morning, and let's help people, because I think when we mention the word ChatGPT, people kind of go, "Oh no, okay, am I supposed to use it? Am I not supposed to use it? Am I lazy if I use it?" But you have a really clever way of using it to help your social media. So do you want to share with us a little bit about why we're doing this particular topic today?
Yeah, no problem at all. And like I know we're talking specifically we're talking specifically about ChatGPT, but like if you're into a different AI generation tool, that's completely fine. I suppose my whole ethos would be like, yes, you should be using these tools, because if the equivalent would be when the calculator came out, people say, well, I'm not using the calculator because that's cheating and I'll forget how to add. But
That's a good example, actually.
and actually I heard somebody talking about this recently, and they said, well, when the calculator came out, what happened was we were able to teach our children and our students higher level of mathematics because they had the calculator to make it better and faster. Same when the computer came out. Like I remember when one job that I went into the office and they said, do you want a computer? And I was like, well, how am I going to work without a computer? And like that, what did the computer do? It didn't, like, if you have a computer and I have a computer, it doesn't mean we're going to get the same results, but it just meant that we were able to work faster and get more done. And it's the same with AI. What we don't want to do is just use it for content creation. So yes, social media is what I do. And people may think, oh, it's just content creation. In fact, I would say it's not just about using it for content creation. It's about using it for every stage of your social media strategy. And that's the difference. It's about helping you to get 10 times more work done in the day faster, but not just for content creation. So for every stage of the strategy. And that's the difference, Samantha. So the thing about AI is that if you leave it to its own devices, it will generate like very flowery, generic type of content for us. And if that's your use of social media, just putting generic content creation out there, then don't do that, because that's not going to serve you. What you got to think is we are humans. We are not AI. We are unique. We have ideas. We're innovative. We're creative. And what we got to do is take all of that and use it with AI tools to get things done 10 times faster and better. And that's the key for using AI. So I was having a conversation yesterday over lunch with somebody, and they were like, I'm not too sure. And I said, I'll put it to you like this. I would not employ somebody if they did not know how to use AI.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't, because it's such an essential part of the day. We had a conversation in my team a few weeks ago, and I said, how much more work do you get done in the day?
Mm.
And I said, is it 4 times? And they were like, no, way more. And we came to the conclusion after over and back that at least 10 times more work done in the day.
Mm.
So that is the whole thing. And yes, to go back to your question about content creation, Sam, social media is not about content creation. So that's only, like, I would say, a very small part of what you need to be thinking about when it comes to social media. If you're just on social media thinking about content creation, then the chances are you're not getting results from it.
Mm.
That would be that'd be something that I really would be very strong
Oh
on.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And and also social, the word social,
Yeah,
it's actually more about, I always say it's more about the engagement than the posting,
yeah.
actually. Um, and I just feel that you've come up with I know you do a lot of workshops and stuff, and I know you have one coming up, but just can you give us a little tip of how you would use it? For example, let's say starting out with your marketing strategy. Like,
So yeah, so with your so again, and this is what I'm going to be covering in my workshop, which is taking place on Wednesday. But so, like, over the years, Sam, like, I would have delivered so many training courses, and I remember one particular day going to deliver a training course in a room full of people, and it was actually on Facebook. That's years ago, when Facebook was the only gig in town, and there was a person there with 15,000 followers on Facebook, and they were stuck because they didn't know how to monetize it.
mm,
And there was a person sitting opposite them who hated social media with a passion and hadn't ever been on Facebook. And I remember standing there going, they actually have the same problem.
yeah,
Is that they don't know how to use it strategically.
yes.
The person with the 15,000 followers had figured out how to go on and how to get followers, but they hadn't figured out how to make it work for their business. And the person who hated social media and was really difficult to deal with in the class because they just wanted to keep telling me that, they I'm like, okay.
We all know those ones.
They just didn't know how to monetize it either. And like, sometimes I just say to people, I don't really like social media either,
Mm,
but I just know how to use it to get to generate clients. So when I came home from that training course, and I thought long and hard, and I was like, how can I turn up at a training course and deliver a session that means as much to the person who hates social media with no followers as it does to the person with the 15,000 followers?
mm,
And that's when I sat down and I thought to myself, well, actually, how do people get results? And that's when I developed the framework, and that's the framework that I'll be teaching at my live event on Wednesday. And that framework centers around the basic, like, marketing things, right? So basic marketing principles haven't gone away. The only thing that's changed is that we're talking about them in relation to different channels that we're using. So the first thing that I would encourage people to look at is to understand their core messages, how they are unique, how they are different. And in my experience, people just don't do this enough, Sam. They come to the table and everything is a bit too generic-y, as I say, 50 shades of vanilla, right? So if your understanding of how your business is different, if you don't understand that, if you don't value that, if you don't understand it, you can't communicate it.
mm, mm.
And you have to communicate that, because you have to convince someone why they would want to work with you versus somebody else. So that's the starting point. Then you need to understand at a very deep level who your customer is, and what's keeping them awake at night, or what they worry about, or what they want. Because people don't buy what they need. People buy what they want.
Mhm.
And
And that's actually a huge part of this, Louise, because I know you spoke at Social Media Fest all about creating your ideal customer persona, with ChatGPT. And I know that a lot of people, for example, if you ever watch Dragon's Den or whatever, they say, so who are your customers? And everyone's my customer. And I've heard this, I'm sure you've heard this many times, and people in the watching, welcome everybody who's watching, by the way. We've 39 people tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning in. You know, everyone is my customer. Like, we hear that so many times. So do you want to just share a little bit about why it's important to know who your ideal customer is.
Yeah, so it's so important to know because, especially on social media, right? Because we have to speak their language. We have to create content which gets their attention. We've got about 2 seconds as our content appears in the newsfeed to get them to pay attention and to stop scrolling. We have to create content that resonates with them so that they just don't check in for 2 or 3 seconds, that that they actually want to connect with you, that they connect with your content, and when they interact with your content, they're more likely to see your future content. So that's why we need to really understand who our customers, and if we're too broad in our targeting, well, then we will appeal to nobody. Everyone is never your customer. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, you're so right. So if you try to appeal to everyone, you'll most likely appeal to no one. So, the more niche you can be, the more specialized you can be, then the easier it is with your content creation, your lead magnets, your customer journeys, your sales conversations, the offers that you have to lead people towards your offer. All of that becomes a lot easier. So to back to your original question, how do you use ChatGPT or AI? So when you're developing your core messages, you use AI to help you do it faster and better. And these are some exercises I take people through. So when you're developing your customer persona, yes, you need to bring all the unique information that you understand about your customer, but you get AI to help you create that persona faster and better. Then you need to create content. And then sometimes what people do is they create content, but they forget about their core message and they forget about their ideal customer, and they're jumping on trends, and what they're putting out bears no relationship to what they want to achieve or who they're trying to have the conversations with. And then the missing piece of the puzzle that most people are missing is what I call create a customized social sales funnel. And that is, how do you create an intentional system using organic and paid social media means to drive people towards your email list? And then when you get them on your email list, you nurture them towards a sales conversation. And that is your social sales funnel. And then the last part of my framework would be around optimization, because you'll never get it 100%. Like, you run a campaign once and go, oh my God, I couldn't do any better than that. Like, whoever says that? And so you have to be continually looking at every stage of your campaigns to say, like this morning, I was applauding us. I said, oh, my opt-in page is at 90%. And the last time it was at 66. That means more people signed up when they got to the page. We've spent time working on that page. Okay. So every part of your campaign you need to optimize. And then the really annoying thing for us, Sam, when we in social media, and for everybody, is that it's constantly changing. Like the shifting sands. So the campaigns that you ran 2 years ago or last year or 6 months ago, if you just replicate them now, they're not going to work. So you have to be continually optimizing. And that optimization piece is the stuff that never finishes. So optimizing your messaging, optimizing your lead magnets, optimizing your journeys, optimizing every part, every stage to make sure that you're getting the best possible results that you can.
And I'm going to give a full disclosure here. We 47 people tuned in. Thank you so much. And Jonathan Howard, actually, I think he would be a brilliant guest on your podcast. Okay. I love Jonathan. He's brilliant. He's based in New York. So Jonathan and I were chatting yesterday on Chatter. So just, full disclosure, folks, I'm actually working with Louise to fine tune my message again, because don't forget Twitter. I was tweeting goddess. And Twitter, it was all my language was Twitter and tweet and, Twitter lists and, so everything, like now I'm more focused on LinkedIn and helping people, get noticed, especially your executive brand, your personal brand. And so I need to look at this too. Like, it's not just, everybody, we always think it's changing so much, and it really changed for me. And even my branding, I have to change. Like, so tweeting goddess, it's not really relevant, the name anymore. My book, I have to do a new book, sure, because it was like the little book of Twitter magic. I mean, it's all out of date now. So so it's not just, I think everybody needs to
Yeah.
like talk to you, Louise, and that one-to-one guidance, and even this masterclass. Tell us what people can expect in this masterclass that's coming up. And what date is it on again? Sorry, Friday, is it?
No, it's
No,
on Wednesday. It's on this
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So 3 p.m. New York time, which is 8 p.m. Dublin, London time on Wednesday, and it's live. So, and actually, full disclosure, Sam's working with me, but I'm also working with Sam. So this is the type of thing that it's very hard to do for yourself.
Yeah.
You can be an expert and for everybody else, but when it comes to your own business, seeing the wood from the trees, it can be difficult. So yeah, we help each other, which is very important. And when you get help, you make progress faster, which is really important. So my masterclass it's on Wednesday. It's on, as I said, 3 p.m. New York, 8 p.m. Irish time or UK time, and it's going to be an hour, and it's going to take you through that framework with lots of examples of what to do, what not to do, and how to get results. Because so many people tell me, Sam, and I know you'll agree with me on this, that they are busy on social media, but it's not translating into money into their bank account. And that's the whole focus. It's, I'm very much a believer that you don't have to have, like, it's nice to have, if you have 50, 60, 70,000 followers, happy days. But like lots of my clients, are very successful on much fewer followers than that. So it's not about the followers. It's more about who you're reaching and what you're doing and how you're encouraging them to come onto your list and how you're encouraging them to convert them. And I always say to people as well, the people who make the most money, now this is a generalization, so don't kill me if you don't agree. The people that make the most money from social media are not the people with the most followers. They're the people with the largest email lists. Because people who are intentionally moving somebody onto an email list and focusing on how they can grow that list and how they can use that list to find new customers will make more money. And again, in what we do, like, it's about consistency. Like, so you don't want that you're extremely busy one month and then it's a famine then so it's that generating that income that comes month in, month out. So it's about, like, so if you were in a hotel and you have seasonality, you got to plan around that seasonality by creating opportunities and campaigns at times of the year when there's less likely going to be demand to sell your rooms. And if you're a consultant or a coach, you've got to think of it like that as too. There's going to be times of the year that people, they're the times when everybody wants to take action. So generally they're like a January or September, or sometimes around this time of year. But other times of the year where people aren't thinking about changing their lives, you've got to figure out how you can incentivize them to take action then. So it's all those things that we need to think about.
And actually, this is a really good time for people to learn something new. I always say during the summer time, a lot of decision makers go on holidays, and I feel that I always say that the summer is actually a really good time to learn new things and to implement new things and to get ready for September. Because if you're a coach in particular, I find myself that a lot of decision makers will go on holidays over the summer, and they're at that stage in their careers where they can actually probably take a month, or whatever. I've noticed that myself during the summer. So I always take this time. And that's why I'm going to start doing these LinkedIn live over the summer interviews, just to kind of help each other to kind of get in front of new audiences and stuff like that. So it can be a tough time for small business owners in particular. So if anyone is interested in connecting with Louise, obviously here on LinkedIn, definitely, if you go and connect after this, Jonathan and Louise, please connect, definitely. Connecting the dots always. And I think, Louise, like, if people want to sign up, we put the link in the comments, but what will happen, it's 8 p.m. my time, isn't it? Our time.
Yeah.
Wednesday. I know I'm signed up for it, so I can't wait to see everybody there. Is there anything else they'll get after they leave this workshop on?
Yes, there's a live. If anyone who turns live is going to get a bonus persona creation worksheet as well. So
Brilliant.
yeah, it's actually really good. It's a really good freebie to get. But to go back to your point of what you said, I think it's so true. Like people that come to you at the end of September ready to start taking action, like they would have been better to take that action during the summer and be hitting the ground running. So when
Mm,
you get busy in your business, it's very hard to be strategic.
yeah.
And from the end of September till about the end of November is usually a hugely busy period for people. It's usually the busiest period of the year. So what you don't want to be doing is trying to sit down and be strategic and come up with new ideas and, exploring different ideas. You're so true. Spend the summer doing that. So then in September, you're hitting the ground running. And from
Mhm.
September to October, November, December, you're optimizing.
Yeah.
You
You
want
probably already have more on your email list at that stage as well, because people are sitting on their phone on holidays as well, and they're scrolling and, so Louise, how about you? Like, what do you find people come to you with the most? Like, what is it? I know you coach people one to one as well and stuff, but I know you've lots of options to work with you. But for anyone watching that, likes what they hear and they want to work with you, what is the most common challenge people come to you with?
So the most common challenge is that people aren't that they're active. They want to optimize, want to get more clients. So they're active, but it's not working for them. So it can be that, or in our agency, it can be that they're just too, like, they need to outsource it. They're a larger organization and they don't have time to do what they need to do themselves. And that could be somebody who's a standalone coach. We have standalone coaches like solopreneurs who have been using our agency for years, and the results are the proofs in the pudding. It brings in business with them. And then we have larger organizations as well, where we nearly become their marketing department within their organization. But for like the coaches and consultants, it tends to fall into three different categories, Sam. Sometimes they're on the outside looking in and they don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
And we help them. And then sometimes the biggest cohort, they're very busy on social media, but they don't know how to monetize it. That's how we help them to use it to drive sales and leads. And then we would have the people who come to me for one-to-one are generally, they have their messaging down. They're already getting success, but now they need to scale. And
Yeah.
again, we help people. So yeah, look at, more than yourself, I just love social media. I
Mhm.
love that it's always changing, and because that keeps my brain active. It keeps
Yeah.
me being innovative. More than yourself, you have to sit down and you go, hang on, what's after happening here? And how are we going to shift? And what are we going to do? And it's very exciting. So and people who work with us will always say, like, we're very innovative, and we work really hard. We don't leave any stone unturned. So as I said, like, I know we have a call booked in, and I was like, for the whole weekend, I was thinking of you. I was thinking of you.
Thank you.
But it would. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, that's what I love about small business owners as well, just to give small business owners a shout out, because the reason we're business owners is because we are passionate about what we do. We put the work in, we're not afraid of work. Usually you're dealing with a human and the owner. We're not just throwing you down to the junior that's just started or whatever. We're actually always actively, we need to stand out. So we need to be top of our game. We need to keep learning. We need to, so it's like, if we're going to compete against the big guys, we have to stand out with our personal branding as well. So it's really important, folks. And I was actually watching a video yesterday about, I see a lot, just to bring a little bit about what I do into this conversation, like she was talking about, the head of the company, like the bigger companies and smaller companies. It's so important for the CEO or for the founder to have a personal brand so that we can build that trust. And I know that you, even though you've got so many people working with you as well, you always are on the camera, and always you build the trust, and then you have the thing set up so that the funnel will flow. So if anyone is a little bit afraid of putting themselves out there, definitely don't be afraid to reach out to either myself or Louise, because like this stuff works. It really works, and you need to stand out. And we're not going to stand out if we're just hiding in the background and not afraid to use social media. And if you're really afraid to use social media and it really doesn't agree with you and you don't like tech, get someone like Louise to manage it for you. So yeah, so anything you want to add before we wrap up?
So just to, I totally agree with what you're saying there. So you think about it, the Lancoms and the Chanels and the leading, like the world class brands, of this world, they pay actresses and movie stars and A-list celebrities to be the face of their brand to build trust.
Mm.
So you're the movie star in your brand. You need to be the face, and people will believe you more than anybody else. And if you don't like how you look and you don't like how you sound, well, guess what? Nobody does.
Exactly. And someone said actually in the comments of this lady's video, they said, "Yeah, but you're pretty. I'm not." How it's like, what?
Just get over
Just
it.
I don't care what you look like. I want to hear what you speak about, what your knowledge is. I want to you build trust with sharing your knowledge and adding value. I love what you said. You're the movie star in your brand. I think that's going to be my new book. That's my new book title. Anyway, thank you so much, Louise, for your time. And definitely, folks, don't forget to check out her podcast. It's the Social Media Takeaway Podcast. And definitely check out her workshop, her masterclass on Wednesday. And it's in the link in the comments. And if you don't see the link, definitely DM or PM myself or Louise, and we'll send it to you. And I'll see you there, Louise. I'll be there.